been doing a lot of work, doing a lot of listening. Again, my role as a superintendent of schools is that of a practitioner. I'm the person who's responsible for facilitating what comes out of the State Department, what comes out of the State Board, and having it play out successfully in my school system. I'm also responsible for connecting with members of the superintendency, of school boards, of teacher groups throughout the state, in my current role as superintendent, to collaborate and to find what the best opportunities are for all of our kids in all school districts in this state, not just Boise or not just those in Ada County. I recognize sometimes there's a little bit of a disconnect. I'm beginning to learn that. A little bit of a disconnect sometimes between Ada County, Boise, and the rest of the state. And it is appropriate that if you will allow me, I should come to your communities and uncharacteristically do more listening than talking. Find out how the current state of affairs is playing out in your community, and my view, having visited with a number of my colleague superintendents, is that it's not playing out well. When Tom Luna was elected 4 years ago, honestly, the field, superintendents of the state, kind of came together and said, you know, let's give this guy a chance. Let's offer our support, our assistance, and try to move forward with him, recognizing that he has no experience in the field, recognizing he did about 2 years of experience on a school board, recognizing that he got sent to Washington, D.C. to go to politician school, recognizing that he has made statements for several years about the dismembering, if you will, of public education in the state of Idaho in favor of ideology. And what has happened since is all of those things played out. I was, along with a fellow by the name of Jeff Thomas, who's the superintendent in Rexburg, Madison School District, and Dave Newman, who's at Genesee, were members of Tom's transition team. It was a very short-lived transition team, and a group that basically went to him and said, hey, you got an opportunity here. That's just what I said before. An opportunity to connect with the field. This is a small population state. We can work together to really move Idaho forward. We can bring the best that is going on in all of the districts in the state into focus, into play, as well as what's available in the region, what's available in the nation. Many of the people who are practicing superintendents are not only connected throughout Idaho, but are connected throughout the country with practitioners and people who have had great success in educating children of all backgrounds and all experiences. That discussion did not go very far. And what I have seen over the last 4 years has been dismaying, disappointing. And as we have seen in the last 2 years, the concept again of the dismemberment of the field has really come to play. Right now, our schools are funded at the 1999-2000 levels. I served for a few years in the state of Wyoming, and my colleagues call me and email me and laugh, and they say, Stan, you left too soon. You know, our base salary now in Natrona County is $41,000 a year. Do you know what the base salary is in Idaho for starting teachers? It's below 30. It's below 30. And by the way, the structure for the funding of that particular sector of the school district budget has that holding for 6 years. So there's no movement for 6 years at the below $30,000 level. In my school district, over the last 8 years, we have retired 900 teachers. So it wasn't totally because of me. At least some of them told me that anyway. What's happening in my school district is what's happening in yours and districts across the country. Those folks that are my age, and many of you in this room, our age, the baby boomers, are heading off into the golden years. Remember that plan, that retirement plan that I talked about a little while ago? Heading off, and they're being replaced by the millennials. Youngsters who have a much different view of how life is lived, how employment is played out, and they're our expectations for a number of things. We've had very, very good success incorporating what I call the millennial generation into our district and getting them into focus for success. In my school system, I have had to be responsible for paying attention to change. That has not happened in the state of Idaho. Let me give you a couple of quick examples. 15 years ago in my school district, there were 40 non-English speakers. Today there are 2,300. 102 languages. The latest assimilations are Nepalese and Burundian. And by the way, if there's anybody that in here has a hobby of translating in those languages, come talk with me. 15 years ago, we had 2 low-income buildings in my school district. We now have 17. And the only reason we have 17 is because all of our low-income funding goes to elementary schools. We do not move it to secondary simply because the philosophy is if you don't get them back on track or on track by the time they leave elementary school, you can spend gazillions at the secondary level and it's not going to matter. We also had about 18% free and reduced lunch numbers 15 years ago. We now have near 50%. Well, I want to tell you that it requires an institution to say education has got to be different. We have got to take a different focus. And we have got to not only accommodate those people who are coming in who have all kinds of issues and challenges, but all of the children. And the concept is not accommodate them for just low bar work, but high level preparation. I'm pleased to say that our work in the district, and by the way, this is work that is reflective of what's happening in your schools throughout the state. It may be in different forms, it may be in different sizes, it may be in different levels, but it's happening all over the state of Idaho. Our view is that the advanced placement system was very, very important to our students, the College Board's advanced placement system, simply because it compared our kids not to a low common denominator, but it compared our kids to the best across the country and, as you know full well, across the world. AP is now expanded beyond the borders of the United States. I was pleased to find with a meeting with the College Board 2 weeks ago that Boise, I mean the good news is that Boise, the good news is as far as I was concerned, gives 37% of the state's advanced placement tests. 37% represents about 2,400, taken by about almost 2,000 kids. Okay, the average score is 78. Excuse me, I shouldn't say that. 78% of the students who sit for those tests in our district get 3 or above on the 5-point scale, which is post-secondary credit. What makes me so happy is when I went to high school, the types of kids that were eligible to take those classes were the smart kids and the kids that had privilege and the kids that were further advanced or further